respected Dr. Harshvardhan, our Honorable Health and Family Welfare Minister, Secretary Sir, Madam ASNMD, Dr. Sareen, our Joint Secretary, DGHS. Thank you, sir. And we are here gathered today for the launch of the integration of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease with our ongoing NCD program, which is known as NPCDCS. And we are also joined by many members from the state government and medical colleges and association members of many public health bodies. And we are happy that this NAFLD in a very short period of time is being integrated to NPCDCS. First, at the outset, I would like to request Sir Vishal Chauhan, our Joint Secretary, to propose the welcome address.
Sir, today on the occasion of launch of the integration of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease in the National Program for Prevention and Control of Cancer, Diabetes, Cardiovascular Disease and Stroke, we call it NPCDCS, and release of operational guideline of NAFLD, I welcome Dr. Harshvardhan ji, Honorable Minister for Ministry for Health and Family Welfare, sir. Sir, on the day you had approved the operational guidelines for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease in January, that day only you had fixed the date for the review of the program also. That is for date for today, 22nd February 2021, for which you wanted progress to be updated to you on the implementation of the program. Sir, today I also welcome Shri Rajesh Bhushan sir, Secretary Health and Family Welfare Department, who has spared his time out of his hectic schedule for this program and guided us from time to time in implementation of the non-communicable disease programs under the NHM. I also welcome Shrimati Vandana Gurnani Madam, Additional Secretary and Mission Director NHM, who not only ensuring a smooth implementation of NHM program through various state governments and UTs, but also playing an important role in COVID management and other activities of the ministry. I also welcome Dr. Sunil Kumar sir, Director General Health Services, who provided us leadership in giving technical support throughout the formation of guidelines through his team of competent officers in framing of the guidelines. I also welcome Dr. P.K. Sen sir and Shri S.K. Sareen, Senior Professor and Director, Institute of Liver and Biliary Sciences, and Dr. Umesh Kapil, Professor, who supported us throughout in design of the program and conducting 3 webinars with the state government officials, medical education department officers, and various public health professional organizations since the approval of the guideline and launch within a short period of 1 month. I also welcome all the state government health department, additional chief secretaries, principal secretaries, commissioners, mission directors who are participating in this webinar virtually. I also welcome ministry officials, directorate officials, and officers from the regional office, state government, and all other who are participating in this program. And the last, I welcome once again to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now may I request Madam Vandana Gurnani, AS and Mission Director, to give us a highlight about the operational guidelines and integration of NAFLD with NPCDCS. Ma'am.
Thank you, Swasti. Honorable Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Harshvardhan ji, respected Secretary Shri Rajesh Bhushan ji, respected DG Sahab, our colleagues in the ministry, Dr. Sareen, the force behind the release of this guideline today, Dr. Umesh Kapil, Dr. P.K. Sen, Dr. Sudhir Gupta, Dr. Swasti, Dr. Pradeep, our colleagues who have joined us from the states and partners who are present in today's meeting. Sir, at the outset, I would like to thank you, sir, for this milestone evolution in the history of the NPCDCS program, sir, because today a very important element is being added to this program, which has a bearing on other diseases also, which are already being covered as part of this program, sir. So, sir, the focus of this new initiative would largely remain on prevention and screening, which will be done through the population-based screening, which is conducted as part of the NPCDCS program, as well as through the 60,313 health and wellness centers that have been set up across the country, with more and more such centers being set up each day, sir, as we go along. And sir, you would be also happy to note, sir, that apart from this screening that is done as part of the population-based screening and the health and wellness centers, as part of this program, a huge network of NCD clinics and NCD cells is supported across the states, sir, as part of the program, as part of the National Health Mission, because the secondary and primary support is provided under the NHM. So we now have, sir, 667 district NCD cells, 639 NCD clinics at district level, 192 cardiac care units. Then we have 4,472 CHC level NCD clinics and 218 daycare centers, sir. So these are, sir, operational across the country, and with better screening and prevention, we will be able to not only detect people early but also link them up with these facilities and then with the tertiary facilities in our medical colleges and through PMJ, so that a proper continuum of care can be established, sir. So this will be the way this program will overall run, sir. And sir, as per your direction, already 3 meetings have taken place, one with the state nodal officers, another with the medical colleges principals, sir, across the country, and a third with the IMA and the other professional associations, sir. So, sir, this was your specific direction when this program was being conceived, that we must hit the ground running, and therefore these meetings, sir, I'm happy to report, have already taken place. And sir, even in terms of the screening, sir, the Health and Wellness Center, sir, as of today, we have completed about 20 crore screenings for hypertension and about 8.38 crore for diabetes and about 8 crore odd for the 3 different cancers, sir. So, sir, taking this movement of prevention and wellness ahead, this will be a very important element, sir, which will be added to the program, and this will prevent other NCDs as well as other metabolic diseases, sir. I'd like to thank you, sir, for being the force behind this initiative, and assure you, sir, on behalf of NHM and the NPCD team, sir, that we will take this initiative seriously forward at all levels within our health sector. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Now may I introduce Dr. Siv Kumar Sarin, who is a senior professor and director of the ILBS Institute in New Delhi. Sir would be speaking on the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and why it is necessary to be integrated with the NPCDCS program, the flagship program for NCD. Over to you, sir.
Honorable Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, Secretary Health, DGHS, and all the senior members and my colleagues, and it's a historic day for India, and I want to thank the Honorable Minister for his kind understanding, passion and dedication to get a healthy India. It's just a few months ago that he appreciated the concept and made every one of us to do work. I'm personally indebted on behalf of rest of the country, sir, and I'll tell you what the likely benefits of this program and initiative could be. About 1 in 3 in the country, like in the US, has fat in the liver, and it is reported that this century will be all monitored because of a fatty liver and the consequences of that. We say India is the diabetic capital, but probably we are also the capital for fatty liver. And fatty liver precedes all other diseases, for example, diabetes, blood pressure, cardiac events, cancers, by a decade or 2. So it is important for us to understand that metabolic factory, the liver, is one which is your energy balance, which is the chartered accountant. And because of that reason, if this is in the core, in the center of the NCD programs, this can give a huge benefit. Most humbly I would say, health budget, health के बाद का बजट है, बीमारी होने के बाद का बजट है. हम कहते हैं हेल्थ बजट में इतना पैसा है, वो एक एक बीमारी के लिए है सर, पर हेल्थ के पहले का बजट, बीमार होने से पहले का बजट, बीमार होने से पहले का इनिशिएटिव, मुझे लगता है ये पहली बार है कि हम बीमार ना हों. और वर्ल्ड में ये पहला इनिशिएटिव है सर, एंड आई गिव टोटल क्रेडिट टू यू एंड टू द मिनिस्ट्री एंड द पीपल कि पहली बार एक ऐसा इनिशिएटिव वर्ल्ड में शुरू हो रहा है जहाँ पे हम प्रिवेंटिव एंड अर्ली डिटेक्शन को फोकस में रख रहे हैं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, कोई मुझसे पूछे कि भाई क्या मेरे फैटी लिवर है, तो उसके लिए एक सिंपल वर्ड मैंने कॉइन किया, क्लासिक, कि भाई अगर मेरे फादर को कैंसर था, मेरे फादर को लिवर की बीमारी थी, लंग की बीमारी थी, हार्ट की बीमारी थी, शुगर की बीमारी थी, वो खर्राटे ज़्यादा लेता था, स्लीप एपनिया था या किडनी डिजीज़ थी, अगर मैं एक ऐसी फैमिली में हूँ तो हो सकता है मेरे को भी ये प्रॉब्लम हो, तो हु शुड बी स्क्रीन्ड। एंड आप देखेंगे भारत में ये कॉमन एनसीडी की प्रॉब्लम्स इतनी कॉमन है, तो हर व्यक्ति उसके अंदर एक स्क्रीनिंग कर सकता है। दूसरा, अगर हम लोग ये देखें कि क्या हम इस प्रोग्राम को इम्प्लीमेंट कैसे करें, हम फैटी लिवर से बचें। लोगों को डर है, फैटी लिवर है, उनका एटीट्यूड है, क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है, चलने दो। वो क्या फ़र्क पड़ता को सर भारत सरकार ने कई तरीके से जोड़ा है, और मैं टॉप लेवल से नीचे तक, फॉर एग्जाम्पल फिट इंडिया, योगा, all of these can be clubbed and you can see that how we can remain healthy. अगर एक छोटा सा सबमिशन है, सब लोग इस एज में मिनिस्ट्री के अंदर सीढ़ी चढ़ के आए, लिफ्ट से नहीं आए, लिफ्ट इज़ फॉर पेशेंट्स, आप देखेंगे सब के सब लोगों की एक्सरसाइज लेवल बढ़ सकती है। मैं कह रहा हूँ हर छोटा छोटा कदम अगर हम लें तो हो सकता है कि हम अपना सिस्टम ठीक कर सकते हैं। पर इस प्रोग्राम की बेनिफिट तब होंगी जब हम लोग सिविल सोसाइटी से कनेक्ट हो जाएं, सारे लोगों से। अभी हेल्थ सेक्रेटरी साहब मुझे एडवाइस कर रहे थे, डॉक्टर साहब इसको कैसे हम लोग, ये कोर है, इसको हम कैसे लोगों तक पहुंचाएं। सर इसमें इतनी मेहनत करी है डॉक्टर सुधीर, डॉक्टर स्वास्थ्य एंड ऑनरेबल हमारे DGHS सुनील साहब ने, इतनी मेहनत करके वेबिनार, और हर वेबिनार को उन्होंने स्टेप बाय स्टेप बेटर बनाया है। मुझे भी सोचने को मजबूर किया है कि लोगों तक कैसे पहुँचे, कैसे वेलनेस में हम लोग इसको ले जाएं। और मुझे लगता है कि इसके लिए पहली बात, आज हम लोग को स्टडीज़ की ज़रूरत है कि हमारे देश में फैटी लिवर का बर्डन क्या है, और मे बी 10 साल में, एक डिकेड में हम लोग देखेंगे कि हम लोग अपनी लिविंग एज 70 से 80 तक ले जा सकते हैं। सर अगर हमें 10 साल बढ़ाना है तो मैं छोटे 5-6 चीज़ें हैं। इफ़ यू वांट टू लिव टिल 80, 80% अपना वेट कम करें, 80% पे वेट ले आएं, जितना वेट होना चाहिए उससे 80% पे ले आएं, फैटी लिवर बेटर हो जाए। कम से कम 80 मिनट हफ्ते में रिगरस एक्सरसाइज करें, और ये ध्यान रखें कि जब भी खाएं वो जितना खाएं उसका 80% ही खाएं, जितनी भूख हो 20% छोड़ दें। अगर हम ये when to eat, what to eat, how much to eat, all these can be integrated into lifestyle changes into this program. And sir, you have done so many large programs. It is my humble request, it is my passionate belief कि आप अगर इसको जिस तरह से आपने गाइड किया है तो हम लोग एक हेल्दी इंडिया, एक हेल्दी प्रोग्राम की तरफ जा सकते हैं। आप WHO को सर रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं, अगर आपको उचित लगे, एंड आई थिंक इंडिया शुड सर्टेनली पुश दैट अदर कंट्रीज इंक्लूडिंग WHO should take up this program. This will be the first major lead through our country to the world. I know global status में लोग सोच रहे हैं, वो ये सोच रहे हैं कि शुगर पे टैक्स लगा दो, अल्कोहल पे टैक्स लगा दो, पर क्या हम उसको चेंज कर सकते हैं? एक बिहेवियरल चेंज, माइंडसेट को हम क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है ऐसे, अगर हम उसको फ़र्क पड़ता है पे ले आएँ तो एक बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट पार्ट हो जाएगी। भारत में करीब 10% को डायबिटीज़ है, उनमें 2/3 को लिवर की प्रॉब्लम। हम उन सब की लिवर की प्रॉब्लम्स को कम कर सकते हैं। सर आप इतने रिसेप्टिव हैं, नेशनल वायरल हेपेटाइटिस प्रोग्राम लाए आप, इतने मेजर, पर मुझे लगता है NCD में ये पहला एक मेजर प्रोग्राम 10-12 साल में है, और ये एक फलक्रम बन सकता है। इसके लिए पैसा, इसके लिए उपाय बहुत सारे हैं। ILBS के लोग, उमेश, कपिल एंड अदर्स ने बहुत मेहनत की है। सर अगर आपको उचित लगे, वी कैन बी पार्टनर एज ए सेंटर ऑफ एक्सीलेंस और वट एवर यू वॉन्ट टू कंटिन्यूसली गिव अवर क्लिनिकल टेक्निकल इनपुट्स। But what we need is involvement of all the states, all the stakeholders. The way they have done the different webinars has made me learn so much ki how implementation of programs is being done. I am really impressed with the way the team in DGHS under Dr. Sunil and Ministry has done. I have few more thoughts on this, sir. We have to involve general public in a very big way. I am not sure how to go, sir. Your media approach, आपकी इतनी following है, सर ये country बदल जाएगा, लोग बदल जाएंगे. आपने जिस तरह से इसको लिया है सर, 10 साल में communicable diseases तो infection, diabetes इनको हम लोग control कर लेंगे, but non-communicable में India can lead the world, and this is a very humble submission. It's a national priority. It's an epidemic of a different magnitude, and today is the first step. It is a historic day. आप जो guidelines release करेंगे, मुझे लगता है उससे दुनिया में बहुत नाम होगा भारत का कि भारत ने एक शुरुआत की है और छोटे छोटे विलेज के लोग भी इसको समझ पाएंगे. In my humble opinion, it is one of the biggest steps in the whole health scenario which is being taken. I may be biased, but this is my understanding, and I want to profusely thank you, sir, the Secretary Health and DGHS and the whole department for allowing us to work and put our thoughts behind. Thank you so much, sir. Kind regards.
Thank you, Sarin sir, for the insights and the wisdom you have shared, sir. We will continue to work in that direction as advised by you, sir. Next, I would like to request Dr. Sunil Kumar, Director General Health Services, to share his thoughts on integration of NAFLD with NPCDCS, why this is a journey which is long awaited.
माननीय यूनियन हेल्थ मिनिस्टर डॉक्टर हर्षवर्धन जी, सेक्रेटरी हेल्थ श्री राजेश भूषण जी, एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी मैडम वंदना गुरनानी जी, जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी श्री विशाल चौहान जी, लुकिंग आफ्टर NCD, प्रोफेसर S.K. Sareen, Director ILBS, and his team, including Umesh Kapil ji, who has been my teacher, and I pay my humble regard to him, my colleagues in the Directorate, including Dr. P.K. Sen, other colleagues in the Ministry of Health, team members from ILBS, all the state health secretaries and their teams, other friends, ladies and gentlemen who are joining this event virtually. I am an ardent believer and follower of healthy living myself, and I try to influence almost everyone who comes in my contact for healthy living. Further, since I am a surgeon, liver is of great interest to me. I remember having conducted many hepatic surgeries myself as the first in Guru Tegh Bahadur Hospital, one of the prominent hospital in Delhi government, when liver surgeries were not initiated. Therefore, today I am very happy to note that this important issue of non-alcoholic fatty liver diseases is being integrated in our popular successful program of NPCDCS. Please allow me to explain the importance of NAFLD to you in brief, although it has already been done by Professor Sareen. As you all know, that liver is an important organ which performs a number of vital functions, so much so that it is impossible to survive without a healthy liver. Contrary to belief, unhealthy lifestyle, obesity, uncontrolled diabetes are major contributors to development of many hepatic disorders, many liver diseases. and the chief amongst them is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Higher prevalence is expected in those with overweight or obesity, and also in those with hypertension, dyslipidemia, diabetes or pre-diabetic states. As pointed out earlier by Professor Sareen, India is the diabetic capital of the world, and we are en route to a silent epidemic which is a killer, and it is arriving unnoticed. Literature review shows its prevalence to be around 9 to 30%. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. And actually speaking, the disease burden is not really fully known. NAFLD gives rise to a spectrum of diseases beginning from hepatitis to fibrosis and going to the cirrhosis, which is end-stage liver disease, and in some to cancer of the liver known as hepatocellular cancer, which is very, very fatal. Unfortunately, once the disease develops, there is no specific cure. Health promotion and prevention targeting weight reduction, healthy lifestyle, control of aforementioned risk factors are the mainstay to prevent the progression and prevention of mortality and morbidity from end-stage liver disease. The Government of India has taken this historic decision of streamlining NAFLD with ongoing national program for non-communicable diseases, the strategy of which can be aligned to prevent NAFLD through lifestyle changes, early diagnosis and management of associated non-communicable diseases, as well as NAFLD. Accordingly, doable actions have been identified with main focus on health promotion and prevention of common NCDs, which would specifically cater to identified needs of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease also. These actions have been consolidated in the guidelines which will be launched formally today by our Honorable Health Minister Shri Harsh Vardhan ji. This will guide the states and union territories and stakeholders to support the related initiatives. It gives me enormous pleasure to have chaired the technical committees of very efficient officers and doctors who drafted the guidelines in a record short period. We have taken several measures which have already been outlined in sensitizing the states to the need of NAFLD. I am confident that this small step, it may appear to be a small step, but it's actually a huge step which will bring a big change, a sea change in the prevention of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and give India people with healthy livers and healthy future. Namaskar and Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the kind words, and thank you for guiding us once again from the front. We will be working towards the initiatives which you have indicated during your speech, sir. Next, may I request Sir Rajesh Bhushan, sir, our Secretary Health and Family Welfare, to address the gathering and give his directions, please.
Honorable Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Harsh Vardhan ji, my colleague in the Ministry, Director General of Health Services, Dr. Sunil Kumar, my other colleagues, Vandana, ASNMD, Vishal, Joint Secretary NCD, Dr. S.K. Sareen, Senior Professor and Director of ILBS. Sir, today is important, as all of my colleagues have said, since you would be laying the foundation for an important strategy by focusing on the liver ailment known as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. within the ambit of the non-communicable disease program. So we are expanding the ambit of the NCD program that is presently being run by within the country. Presently, sir, as you know, this focuses on cancer, diabetes, CVD and stroke and different kinds of cancers. So this is a major radical departure, and as you already know that you had done preliminary reviews and meetings where it was decided that this is a silent killer and has been under the radar for a fairly long period of time. It has economic impact, it disrupts livelihoods, so therefore there is a need for a targeted approach. And that targeted approach, as Dr. Sareen said, cannot focus only on treatment aspects, it must focus holistically on our lifestyle, physical activity, what we eat, and different healthy habits. So that is something which is important, and going ahead it will not only focus on lifestyle and physical activity, it will indirectly also have an impact on curbing tobacco consumption, curbing alcohol consumption, curbing sedentary lifestyle. As Dr. Sareen said that if we could always climb up the stairs, which I do while coming to your office for all the meetings, and lot of us do. I know that DGHS runs 13 kilometers a day? He does, sir. So these are some of the examples which could be, or maybe on weekends you do that 13 kilometers.
10 kilometers every day.
10 kilometers every day. So these are various small activities that we could build in our lifestyle, curbing direct consumption of sugar, going in for complex sugars which are available in fruits and some of the vegetables. So these are things that will eventually also have an impact on diabetes, hypertension, obesity and other issues. So sir, you will be launching NAF-LD guidelines shortly, and that will help start a systemic public health approach to tackle NAF-LD. We appreciate the contribution of Professor Sareen and his team, because without his team it wouldn't have been possible for these guidelines to see the light of the day. And now that this will be part of our non-communicable disease program, so from the grassroots level upwards, from our health and wellness centers, this focus on non-alcoholic fatty liver disease will become important. So sir, as you know, we have 150,000 health and wellness centers that will get operationalized by December 2022, and out of those 150,000, 60,000 have already been operationalized. Just imagine the focus that these 60,000 health and wellness centers will bring on non-alcoholic fatty liver disease across the rural areas, and the impact it would have. Similarly, sir, the medical colleges, the medical college hospitals, which are roughly 570 odd, they will then be onboarded as tertiary care centers, and then there would be apex institutions within the country, both owned and operated by the union government as well as outside the government. So this network of health and wellness centers, medical college hospitals and other tertiary institutions of excellence will bring the required focus. Sir, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the NCD team that's led by Vishal and Vandana, and also ILBS for bringing out the guidelines in such a short time. You had fixed a timeline, and we have adhered to that timeline. So, and webinars have been, and this is not been conjured out of thin air. Consultations have been held, webinars have been held, state officials have been consulted, only then these guidelines have been finalized. So this integration of the non-communicable disease program and the health and wellness aspect of all our programs will be a major initiative in the prevention and control of NCDs. And with these words, I welcome everyone who's physically here with us and those who are virtually connected with us, and urge each one of you to pledge towards a healthy living so that we could have a healthy and productive economy. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. We pledge ourselves for a healthy living. And now we have come to this historic moment when our Honorable Health and Family Welfare Minister would be releasing the operational guidelines for integration of NAFLD with NPCDCS. The guideline is already in front of each of the dignitaries. I would like to request Honorable Minister, sir, and other dignitaries to kindly open it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for releasing the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease into NPCDCS operational guidelines. And we would now like to request Honorable Health and Family Welfare Minister, Dr. Harsh Vardhan, for his remarks, sir.
Shri Rajesh Bhushan ji, Secretary Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Sunil Kumar, Director General Health Services, Madam Vandana Gurnani, Additional Secretary and Mission Director, Health and Family Welfare, Shri Vishal Chauhan, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Dr. P.K. Sen, Principal Advisor, Director General Health Services, Dr. Shiv Kumar Sareen, Senior Professor and Director, ILBS, Dr. Sudhir Gupta, Senior Chief Medical Officer, Directorate General Health Services, Dr. L. Swasti Charan, Additional Deputy Director General, TGHS, Dr. Umesh Kapil, Professor ILBS, Dr. Pradeep Khasnobis, Chief Medical Officer, NFSG, DGHS, Dr. Sunil Savankar, Public Health Specialist, our NCD team consultants. I understand that there are a lot of very, very important people from all over the country who are connected today. Many of the health secretaries from various states and union territories, additional chief secretaries, mission directors, and of course the nodal officers for the program for prevention and control of the non-communicable diseases in the country, media people, representatives from the medical organizations, medical associations. As has been said by the earlier speakers, it is a very, very historic day, and of course a very, very satisfying day. All my life I have always propagated and worked for strengthening the preventive, promotive and positive health aspects of the healthcare scenario. I remember I started my practice as a consultant ENT surgeon 38 years back. And though directly liver diseases are not my domain which I practiced as a consultant, but I know that many of the things in fact which prevent one disease or the other, they prevent this disease also, they prevent everything else across the spectrum of diseases in the whole scenario of body's health. And when I look back at those 38 years, apart from the time when I became a minister, all the years, even while being in public life as a MLA, but when not minister, even while holding important responsibilities in the organization at the national level, I never stopped going to the clinic, I never stopped going to the operation theatre, I never stopped practicing and seeing patients. And when I look back and analyze, my most important prescriptions used to be where I would write in huge capital letters, no medication required, and then on the left side of the prescription I will write in Hindi, cigarette, bidi, तंबाकू, शराब, supari, pan masala, and then put a big cross over them, and below that write 440 volts, and tell the people that if you can avoid many of these things and then focus only on some physical exercises and good diet, you can keep yourself away from most of the diseases. And if we really get into the nitty-gritty of many of these diseases, including the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which we are trying to highlight through the launching of this new program for prevention of these diseases and integrating it, or maybe giving it a little more focus in our national program for prevention of non-communicable diseases, we are trying to actually reassert what is being done for other diseases, because what helps you in the fatty liver, it helps you in the management of diabetes also, it helps you in the management of hypertension also, it helps you in the management of cardiovascular diseases also, it helps you in virtually everything. And that is why we have seen that the focus of this government right from 2014 has been to strengthen as much as possible the preventive and the promotive and the positive health aspects. The Ayushman Bharat scheme, where one component is of course to ensure that you treat the poorest of the poor and give them and don't allow them to be deprived of the healthcare services if they unfortunately fall sick because of huge big illnesses requiring tertiary care and attention. Otherwise, the major focus of that is the creation of the health and wellness centers. It is not that the facilities never existed. At the ground level, there are, everything is there. The community health centers are there, primary health centers are there, sub-centers are there. We used to read about these in our textbooks of social and preventive medicine. And we used to pass our exam describing what is a primary health center, what is the population which will have a primary health center, what is the population for a sub-center, and all this. So all these things existed. But the focus was changed. And today when you report what is happening in the field, in the NHM, people will tell you that even when we answer and inform the parliament, we are told 1 crore screenings have been done for, say, cancer breast, 1 crore, 2 crore screenings have been done for, say, to detect hypertension. We know as a doctor how much important it is to detect even a case of hypertension, because many and most of the cases of hypertension in this country may remain undiagnosed for years together. Many patients will remain undiagnosed with untreated diabetes. I don't get into whether it's a type 2 or juvenile diabetes or whatever, but a large number of people before these programs were not launched, or maybe because there is a renewed focus now in the country. It's not that it is only because of our government, but overall the situation has changed in the last 1 to 3 decades. Overall perspective of health and the consciousness for health, it has got enhanced over the years. What I used to see 25-30 years back when I was health minister in Delhi, there is a huge difference since then. And the focus of this government at most of the places is to ensure that we have these health and wellness centers where, apart from providing treatment at the grassroots level, providing them with drugs, providing them with diagnostics, but also to ensure that we are creating that small social movement around health issues, involving the grassroots health workers, involving the NGOs there, involving the principals, school teachers, all of them there, and create that movement. So this particular program, and now this is not that it is not being, it is the only thing that is being done by this government. We remember that in it is not that people never knew about yoga, but our government even went up to the extent of highlighting the issue at the United Nations. And today all over the world on 21st June, everybody, I think all across the world now is focusing on yoga. When I used to work with WHO, a lot of my friends from abroad, they used to ask me, can you suggest me a good place where I can come in India and learn some yoga in the best possible way, or maybe where I know that I have got a cardiac disease, coronary artery disease. I have been advised things like yoga, and I want to have access to the best possible places. And it's not only yoga. Then the Fit India movement came. I worked very actively for the Eat Right India campaign. I know how diligently FSSAI worked for the Eat Right India campaign. For almost 250 days, I have myself at 8 o'clock in the morning put a tweet around Eat Right India. So we have tried to, in this government, create a, and now we are in the active process of revamping and restructuring and redefining the working and the goals of the Central Health Education Bureau, which we feel is an organization which can produce dramatic reforms in the health sector. And I have myself experienced the importance of this while having worked for the health ministry in Delhi. We have seen how much the school children are important, how much they contribute to the success of the national programs. It is not only the health workers, but nobody has ever evaluated the success or the role. I still remember that in 95 or 96, there was some survey done by an international agency about the success of the polio program in Delhi in '94, and they at that time said the biggest credit for the success would go to two specific categories. They at that time mentioned the school children and the Anganwadi workers. Means they are the people who would actually take that message home, and for everything that is strengthening prevention, that is strengthening the positive health attitudes in the society. I think this is another trigger to actually work more for that. I know for Dr. Sareen, it may be a personal dream realized, because I have been watching him working in this particular field since the time I was health minister in Delhi. He was a professor in G.B. Pant Hospital, and he used to, like mad person, run from pillar to post to create the ILBS, and we never thought that this ILBS will be created one day. But he did not rest till the ILBS was created, and he is desperately after everyone for making a law on hepatitis. He is going to the speaker, he is going to everybody. He has been with the he has been after the health ministry. Not that the health ministry is indifferent to all these things, but if somebody pushes hard, then the trigger, it helps in expediting things, because health ministry has 101 things, and of course I've seen Dr. Kapil working for issues like nutrition and all since the time I was health minister in Delhi. So I have noticed that the success of this particular programs in the health, these programs, is because of the dedication and commitment of large number of sincere doctors who are not doing their profession in a routine manner. They are doing it with passion. I am happy that before these guidelines have been launched, various stakeholders have been, brought into focus. We have discussed with the medical associations also, because it is very important to bring the medical associations into focus. Dr. Sareen would recall that I was the first one who declared the 8 years back, who declared that the Delhi Medical Association Hall, which is a more than 100 years old organization, it would be a no smoking zone. And during my presidency there, that is probably the only year which unfortunately I feel that nobody actually followed that so sincerely. After that, I ensured that the 365 days of my presidency there will be without serving alcohol in any function, in any way. And we used to see that the participation of doctors and their families, it increased threefold times, because the ladies were happy coming to the functions, the children were happy coming to those functions, and they thought that they will probably get better attention if the alcohol is not served there. So the message is that apart from the guidelines, ultimately the guidelines, it's not only the poor health worker or the ASHA worker who is supposed to be implementing this. We have not made these guidelines are first the medical professionals in the country and those who are at the helm of affairs. They have to practice what we are preaching in the guidelines. And I am not happy with the statement that Dr. Sareen made, that 75 minutes of exercise in a week. I think it's not going to help in any way, because I am personally a promoter of a very strong exercise or a walking or a jogging or a gymming or a cycling schedule every day. It can't be 75 days in a week. I don't subscribe to even the WHO theory when in 2002 they said that if you walk for 20 minutes, let's walk for health. They said in 2002 on 7th of April. And they said that if you walk for 20 minutes is perfectly fine. I don't think it ever helps anybody. You have to be walking at least 45 minutes. Personally, I walk 75 minutes in the morning, 75 minutes in the evening, but I don't advocate that everybody should walk that much. But at least, even if you have to have a modest exercise, you have to have at least 1 hour daily. Minimum modest is 1 hour daily. And if you can't find that 1 hour for yourself, you may choose what you want to do. You may want to do active exercises, you may want to do cycling, you may want to walk, you may want to walk briskly, you may want to go to gym, but that is a must. It will help you for everything. It will once you start reducing your weight, you start getting rid of all this cholesterol and fat and everything from everywhere. And obviously liver is the master organ. I think it is rightly said that people give more attention to heart, but if the liver is not functioning well, the heart can never be functioning well. Heart will stop the day liver stops doing its job properly. So and the very fact that we are giving now attention, everybody knows that alcohol will cause cirrhosis and all those issues in the body, but not many people know that if you are not an alcoholic, even a non-alcoholic can also, if you have other risk factors, if your diet is not proper, if you are not concentrating on exercises and things like that, then you can develop this non-alcoholic liver disease, and which ultimately will lead to things like cirrhosis and then predisposition for cancer, etc. And the numbers that have been proposed, it's 1 billion people suffering from that all over the world, and in India 1 to 3 people out of every 10 likely to be suffering from this. If this is the number that is being proposed by the experts, so it's not a small number which can be overlooked or ignored. It requires urgent and very focused attention. There would be a need, Dr. Sunil Kumar, for monitoring what is being done. I am sure Vandana ji and Dr. Sunil Kumar will also continuously monitor with, and of course all our nodal officers who are there in the virtual mode connected to us. I would suggest that all of you should ensure that in your personal lifestyle also, and in the personal lifestyle of all your colleagues in the departments at the grassroots level, they are also motivated to actually help in the implementation of these guidelines. And I would suggest that at the grassroots level there should be a mechanism to formally, informally meet the principals of the schools in that area. Whether it's a primary school run by a government system, whether it's a private school, it may not be written in your guideline like the way, but all my life, whenever I spoke to the doctors in the medical association, I had always told the doctors that my definition of a good doctor is not the one who has a huge big bank balance, or who has a big nursing home where you have to put patients on the floor also and there is a long queue of patients. That is not my definition of a good doctor. My definition of a good doctor is the doctor whose presence itself makes the society in the adjoining area so much health aware, conscious, educated, that diseases start vanishing in the area. The incidence of all the diseases starts going down, and this can go down once if you spare even half an hour every week and just informally meet over a cup of tea some of the relevant people in the society in your vicinity and talk to them about all these preventive things and convey through them to the various stakeholders in the society how do they keep themselves healthy. Everybody actually wishes to keep himself healthy. Nobody is happy going to a doctor or a clinic or a nursing home or a hospital. The only thing that needs to be done is to educate them properly, give them the right guidance, and then of course monitor it on a continuous basis. And for doctors, obviously, they have to be role models doing all that and practicing first what they are teaching to the society. So it's a happy occasion. Congratulations everybody, and thanks all my team here and the team of Dr. S.K. Sareel, Dr. Kapil, DGHS, our National Health Mission people, and the people in the states, and of course once again an appeal to the friends in the Indian Medical Association and other association of medical professionals, that this is a very, very important part of the program for prevention of non-communicable diseases, and it should be given the utmost importance and utmost attention. And certainly we can see a lot of changes happening. I have said it on number of occasions that India with its very powerful DNA, India with its very powerful ancient medical wisdom, and India with its very strong experience, we have seen, being a big country, we have been able to eradicate, like other countries, smallpox, we could eradicate polio. We have been able to show to the world a very convincing, you see, we are inching towards victory in our fight against COVID, and this has all happened because of the potential of our medical community and the people, their commitment. So I am confident that if at all ever a successful model for health for all, which is the dream of WHO for at least 5 decades, we have been hearing in WHO, let there be a health for all. By that, there used to be a talk about health for all by the year 2000, but whenever it comes, I am sure that India has the capability to be able to create that model which can be emulated by the others. And programs like this, I think they will play a very key role. This prevention is, you see, it is not only helping this program which is being produced today. We are highlighting this, but these preventive steps are going to help us in many, many diseases ultimately. And if you have a healthy liver, you have a healthy metabolism, and if you have a healthy metabolism, you have every organ of the body is healthy, and that's, I think, the key to achieving good health. So wish you all good health, and let's hope that we will monitor this program also very aggressively and see some good results in future times. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. With your permission, sir, we would like to propose the vote of thanks. So first of all, sir, I wish to thank our Honorable Health Minister for, despite being in a busy schedule, he has taken out his time for this, sir. Thank you for leading us. And next, I would also like to thank our Secretary, sir, for his wisdom and ever calm nature, which is really befitting a healthy lifestyle from the NCD point of view and encouragement for all of us. Dr. Sunil Kumar, sir, DGHS, who follows a very keen schedule of regular physical activities, has been an encouragement for all of us. Thank you for chairing the technical committee, which has resulted in the operational guidelines today, which has been released. We also wish to thank Vandana ma'am and the entire NHSRC team for giving us all the necessary guidance and help, ma'am. Then our dynamic Joint Secretary, Sri Vishal Chauhan, deserves a warm thanks from all of us for guiding the team. Dr. J.N. Srivastava, ED in charge from NHSRC, and Dr. M.A. Balasubramania, advisor NHSRC, had done great work along with Padam for making the OG available in few days' time in the printed form. And next, I wish to thank our Dr. P.K. Sen and Dr. Sudhir Gupta, sir, from the NCD team. They have been always leading us. Then Dr. Sareen and the entire team of LBS, thank you so much, sir. And we also thank everybody who is present here online from the States, the academia who have been part of this, and also the entire technical team in the NCD team who is sitting in the back rows, but they had been the people actually working for making this operational guidelines. Thank you so much.
ये आज भारत सरकार के स्वास्थ्य मंत्रालय ने नॉन अल्कोहलिक फैटी लिवर डिजीज इसके संदर्भ में जो प्रिवेंशन के लिए समाज के लोगों को अपने जीवन के लाइफस्टाइल में करने की आवश्यकता है और इनकी स्क्रीनिंग को और अधिक महत्वपूर्ण बनाने के लिए इनको देश के नेशनल नॉन कम्युनिकेबल डिजीज़ के प्रिवेंशन के प्रोग्राम में सम्मिलित करने का एक महत्वपूर्ण निर्णय लिया है। उसके लिए एक्सपर्ट्स ने मिलकर ये गाइडलाइंस बनाई हैं और अब ग्रास रूट लेवल पर हेल्थ एंड वेलनेस सेंटर्स से लेकर और ऊपर तक सब लोग मिलकर ये सुनिश्चित करेंगे कि लिवर जो हमारे शरीर का शायद हार्ट ही की तरह एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण अंग है, जहाँ सारे शरीर का मेटाबॉलिज्म और उसके लिए आवश्यक सारे एंजाइम्स और सारी आवश्यक प्रक्रियाएं होती हैं, उसको स्वस्थ रखना कितना ज़रूरी है। और वो एक जनरल धारणा है कि शायद केवल शराब पीने से ही खराब होता है, तो शराब पीने से तो खराब होता ही है, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ उसको स्वस्थ रखने के लिए कितना ज़रूरी है हमारे लिए फिज़िकल एक्सरसाइज करना, योगा करना, संतुलित भोजन करना, अपने आप को गलत खान पान की आदतों से बचाना, हाइपरटेंशन, डायबिटीज़, हार्ट डिजीज़ और दूसरी बीमारियों का भी सुचारू उपचार करना, अपने वेट को रेगुलर एक्सरसाइज के द्वारा ठीक स्तर पर रखना, ये बहुत सारी जो महत्वपूर्ण बातें हैं। फिट इंडिया कैंपेन जो भारत सरकार का है, ईट राइट इंडिया कैंपेन जो भारत सरकार का है, योग और मेडिटेशन को बढ़ावा देने का जो भारत सरकार का कैंपेन है, इन सब के अंदर कैसे कैसे भाग लेना, ये सारी चीज़ें इनको और बल देने के लिए एक और नया चैप्टर आज ऐड हुआ है। शायद दुनिया में भारत पहला देश होगा जो नॉन अल्कोहलिक फैटी लिवर डिजीज़ को एक प्रोग्राम के रूप में प्रिवेंशन की दृष्टि से ले रहा है। ऐसा अनुमान है कि 9 से 32% भारत में लोग उनको ये बीमारी हो सकती है, उनके लिवर में इसके कारण तकलीफ हो सकती है, लेकिन इस तकलीफ के बावजूद भी अगर सब चीज़ों पर संयमित ढंग से हम अपने व्यवहार में, खान पान में परिवर्तन करते हैं तो इन बीमारियों से बचा जा सकता है। दुनिया के 1 बिलियन लोगों में भारत भी बहुत महत्वपूर्ण ढंग से इस बीमारी के पेशेंट्स की संख्या को कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहा है। सब स्थानों पर सब लोग मिलकर और विशेषकर डॉक्टर और स्वास्थ्य कर्मी इसको जन आंदोलन स्वास्थ्य का बनाने की दिशा में अपना योगदान करेंगे। यही मेरी देशवासियों से और विशेषकर मेडिकल प्रोफेशनल्स से अपील है।